Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. It has been a long time since you have seen one of these. Yes, an actual square, more or less square screen, that's for sure, square Android smartwatch. We went through a few of them quite a long time ago. Has it been a year maybe already? But nothing has appeared until now. And here, not only do we have a beautiful square watch, but we have one with decent memory in it. Enough memory you can really do some good stuff. What is it? It is called the Z01, and it comes to us from Banggood. It's got, what it says, 500 million pixel camera. That's good. That's big. That's huge. If it's a real, most of them are 2 megabytes. If this is an actual 5 megabytes, that's great. Even if it's a 2 megabytes and up interpolated to 5 megabytes, which is typically what happens, it's still a decent camera. What the cool thing about this Android 5.1 watch is its memory configuration. Let's take a look at its specs. It comes in through all of here, the languages, the weight, all of the things it supports. Oh, look at this. It has a TF card extender inside of it. You can get 32 gigabytes. It does claim that the camera is a 5 DM. I believe that's going to be a 5 megabyte CMOS camera. As we go through further, you find that down here in the hardware, it's running a dual-core CPU with 1 full gigabyte of RAM and 8 gigabytes of total storage. Nice. Battery is a 600 milliamp hour one. That should give you plenty of time, and it claims 120 hours of standby, 270 talking minutes, and 6 hours of playing music. So hopefully you can get about a day's worth of use out of it. And that finishes out the specs. Let's see what else is in the box. We have a little bag, and inside the bag, no doubt, is the charging stuff. And what do we need on this watch? A dock. All right. Oh, okay. Careful on this one. It's a fully attached wire to a dock with a USB connection. It's not a dock that you can plug a micro USB with it. So you can't just slip the dock in your pocket and take it to work or something expecting to plug in your other charging wires. You have to take the whole thing. I'm going to give them a negative for that one. This is like old technology from 2014. But it slaps on there, holds in good, and should provide a decent charge for the device. All right. Wow, yeah, it's a strong one. 2 buttons and a battery. The TPU band is really nice feeling. It's almost like that TicWatch 2 that they call a liquid band. It does. It feels like liquid. There's an interesting bump here, and you see the little symbol for location. My guess is that's either the module itself or the antenna for your GPS. That part of the band is kind of big right here as well. To get all that battery and everything in there, they may have actually moved some of the electronics down here. There's also a hole, maybe the speaker. I don't see a speaker anywhere else. Here's a plate you have to take off to get into where you can do the SIM card and the TF card. And what else? Camera, 2 buttons, yeah. This looks pretty thick here as well. So we got thick antennas, maybe some electronics in both of the bands, but when you slip it on, it's going to contour and fit nicely on your arm. And we have a screwdriver, which is going to be needed to take the back off, I presume. And why would you need to take the back off if you can do the SIM card and everything from here? I'm not sure. There's more in here too. A bag with a screw. One little screw, but here's a bunch more down below. Some are long, some are short. Huh. Interesting. And stuck way in the bottom is a manual. There we go. Smartwatch. Oh, it goes all the way across. So this is the Chinese side. Here is English. Let's walk across the screen, show you what we've got. Okay, you take that off to get the micro SIM into it. You can insert the battery, so it must have a removable battery. The battery's not in the box, so we're hoping the battery is in the watch already, but there's a screwdriver for that. We have the lock screen, how you make a call, how you capture video or picture, how you can change wallpaper, something about people, contacts, I guess, heart rate built into it, the magnetic charging dock, and a blank page. And that's it for the manual. Okay, I'm going to get it all charged up and make sure there is a battery inside of here. Okay, there was the cover. And it looks like it also had a screen protector on it, which I like to remove. I mentioned that in a lot of the videos that I find it rough to try to scroll across a screen protector, and much prefer just to do it over the glass itself. I haven't had any of these really scratch on me, so I take all that stuff off. Nice curved glass too, no bezel on it, and a huge, if you can see the outline, square for the screen. Let's turn it on and see once I get it charged. Well, this is embarrassing. That's a camera. Cameras have pixels, not bytes. So I just watched the first part that I finished and talked about megabytes for a camera. It's megapixels. And most all of them are like 0.3, 1.3, or 2 megapixels, but some claim they're 5. So here's a challenge for you guys. Tell me a watch. Tell me of a watch that has a true 5 megapixel camera or higher in it, and if I can get it, I'll review it, and we'll really check it out. Don't rely on the sales literature that says it's a 5 megapixel camera. Prove it to me that it's not a 2 megapixel camera up interpolated to make it look like 5 megapixel pictures. Okay, let me break down how we're going to do the rest of this review, because this puppy's charged up and ready to go, but I got to show you something about it. I'm going to set it aside for just a minute. Remember what it looks like now, okay? Because I'm going to show you, ta-da, this one, which is different. This is the X01S. Kind of looks the same, but humongous. Look at the size difference in these. This was the choice we had on the market before if you wanted something that had 1 gigabyte of RAM and 8 gigabytes of storage. And it's a nice watch, but it's not like this one. The X9A, on the other hand, which is this one, is, I won't say looks like, I'm going to say is 100% identical to the Z01 with one tiny exception, memory. This has got 512 megabytes of RAM and 4 gigabytes of storage. Double RAM, double storage. And that's nice because, you know, you've seen in other videos I've done, you need at least 1 gigabyte of RAM if you want to do offline speech-to-text conversion and not have to use that tiny keyboard, you know, one of the Google things. It's got to be that big. Having 8 gigabytes of available memory allows you to really work with a lot more apps on this watch. Although, and I emphasize this on both of these, I have not found a way that you can connect these to a computer to sideload or transfer apps over into it from your computer. You'll have to download them one by one from the Google Play Store, or you need to have a Wi-Fi transfer thing like AirDroid or one of the others on your computer and on your watch and transfer watch faces if you want custom faces or apps that way. But nonetheless, they're identical. Look at the bump on the front, the GPS thing here, the speaker right here, the compartment right here. And when you get inside of the watch, take them apart, the microSD card slot is exactly the same way. They're so identical that what I'm going to do right now is show you the rest of the review I did on the X9A, because it's all about everything to do about this watch except for the memory. And that's the only difference between the two. So if you're interested in the Z01, which is a really nice watch, just like the X9A, but bumped up in memory, here's what it can do, here's what it looks like. Oh, a couple of things I want to show you before we get into the review. Let's start by turning both the X9A and the Z01 on by pressing and holding the bottom button. Press, hold, wait a minute. Okay, come on, you guys. There, finally took off. All right, check this out. Now, on the video you're about to see, this one boots right up just like it's supposed to. However, on this one, the Z01, it boots into a Chinese menu. Now, let me explain to you how you get past this. You press the bottom button once. That takes you to the last item. And then you press the top button once, and it will reboot the watch. This says Android is starting, kind of over bright right now. There it goes, softened. And that will take you all the way to booting up. And it doesn't, maybe there's an option you can choose that makes it permanent, but I haven't found it. And I don't get the Google Translate to work very well on the screen. So a drawback of the one that I received is you have to go through that process once the menu comes up of hitting the down button, hitting the top button, and then it'll go ahead and boot the rest of the way up. Yeah, an annoyance, but it's not really critical. And there we are. Well, both of them are up now. The other thing I wanted to do was give you some metrics that we didn't do before. Let's weigh these. This one is coming in, can you see the display? 94.0 grams. And the Z01, 92 grams. 93.9. 92.1. Okay, really close, but this older one is just slightly heavier. And I thought memory weighed more. Well, goes to show you. Speaking of going to show you, let's take the new one, open it up. Yeah, that's the sound coming out of the X9A. You'll hear that a lot in the review in just a minute. Let's get your bandwidth here, in case you wanted to do a different kind of a connection. Well, let's do it so you can see it on the camera. Bandwidth is 22, 21.5. If it's tight, okay, 21.6. So probably 22. They're non-removable bands, so no sense in measuring up here. The thickness, for those of you curious, 16.5, 16.9. If I get it just in there, yeah. Well, these aren't, I guess, the most calibrated. There, I'm holding it tight, 16.5. And this one, pretty much the same, 16.2. All right, since we're doing measurements and I can put it on our overall table, the X01S thickness is 15. So it's actually a little thinner on that one. And the X01S band is 19. A little bit narrower. Just in case those of you want to take the clasp off and put one of those self-connecting kind of things, you're always asking me about the measurements of the bands. And what does it weigh in at? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's all bloomed out there. 76.6. I can read it to you. So, grams. 76, what was it? 76.8 in that neighborhood for the X01S. Okay, now let's begin with the review of the X9A, which is exactly what you would see in a review of the Z01. So let's turn this unit on and check it out. Starts out with a little Android logo, so it doesn't have a company logo installed that you'd normally see flashing on the screen. and then it'll boot back up into its operational mode. Now, I mentioned to you that it looks really like it could be waterproof. I mean, really watertight, but I don't know. Around those buttons there, there could be water intrusion unless there's some sort of a membrane back there protecting it. But the rest of the body, the SIM card, it all looks like you could dunk this underwater, which is what I kind of planned on doing since it said it was an IP67 waterproof, until I read this on the website that clearly says does not support swimming, bathing, or soaking. So I just want to call out to you guys that we've got an issue now in the way that these watches are being reported. They're loosely using IP67 and IP68, which are supposedly meant that you can indeed dunk these in water. And they're throwing that out as a valid spec about the watches. But then they put the little caveat on there saying, yeah, but it's lifestyle or lifetime waterproof. So I'm not going to dunk this in water. I don't trust it, that it's totally waterproof, which is sad, because then we could really say, yes, this is another of the very few watches that are indeed waterproof and Android. The only other ones that so far have said it that sound like they are the original Z-Blaze Blitz and the brand new Zoe Top, there it's beeping at us, JM01. And I haven't dunked that yet in water either. So let's get into it. We have the watch here. When we slide down, you get this information, shows you your battery strength, your cellular connectivity, and it bounces right back. When you come here and you go left or right, well, you go to the apps. Do I want to uninstall it? No, sorry guys. I'm going to press that button and go back. We're still trying to show you how the watch works. This is a back button, but not all the way to the screen. It's a back button just to the apps. If I go to the left, nothing happens. Well, except if it is touched too long, it goes into the watch face display. Going up takes you in here. And I'm not sure what that 51, 52% were. Boy, it doesn't last long. But you can turn on airplane, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, cellular data, and this looks like it's your mute for your volume. Oh, good. If we touch it, it stays longer. So we're going to leave volume on, and I do that, and it swirls that, and it says 34%. Maybe that's how much RAM is being used, is all I can guess. So those are your two information displays on this watch. You're already noticing, if you've seen our reviews before, that it's different than most of the Android operating system layout. All right, left didn't do anything. Right takes us into the apps. This button does not take us any further back. This one turns it off, and then you touch it to turn it back on again. In terms of watch faces, press and hold. They get the first one. Here's another one. There's not that many, so I'll walk through the watch faces with you quickly. And as far as installing third-party watch faces, haven't gone there yet. Don't know if it will work or not on this one. Notice it takes you back to the very first one each time. This is just the first look, and we're going to just parade through what's on. Wow, that's isn't that different than what it looked like in the thumbnail? That's the thumbnail. All right, there's a mismatch there. And then there's digitals. We have this kind of a digital, and one more, I believe. And that one. And that's all of them. This is kind of that flipping card one. I'll leave it there in case we happen to see it actually change. Doesn't show the seconds. So none of them show the battery, but you can find the battery power just by swiping. Pretty easy. So let's run through the apps. I'm trying to speed these up, guys. I know you don't have an hour per watch to watch these reviews. Messaging is just what you think. It's going to be your text messaging with the SIM card installed. See, I'm not really able to get out of here with sliding. Sometimes you can, but not often. but this will take you back. Phone is what you think it is. It'll take you into your phone. You have speed dial, which is your favorites from your contacts, and then you have your overall contacts, and those are populated from your Google Plus or your Google account. So your Google contacts, if you log into Google, will show up there, which they are. For me, I haven't made any calls, so there's nothing in recent, so I can at least show you those tabs there. Contacts would take you into all of my contacts, and then we hit into settings. Settings is different than what you've seen before. You've got your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth hookup. You got a data usage button, which shows you on an overview of Wi-Fi and your actual Wi-Fi usage, which are kind of interesting reports. What apps have used the most? And I've kind of tested them all out real quick. So here's today and the total, and I guess it'll keep a daily track. I guess that's good if you have a SIM card in it and you're watching your data plan, but for here, it's just kind of more information. That's data usage. When you go into more, you find that you can do airplane mode, sure, default SMS app messaging, yeah, but here you have tethering and portable hotspot capability. So believe it or not, if you could get data on this watch, you could set this up as a hotspot for use with your tablet, for example. You can also set up Bluetooth tethering. So a little more sophisticated capabilities in this than we see in most. Virtual private network allows you to go in and create a VPN, and that's all your data stuff. You saw the cellular's all shaded out. And speaking of cellular, it looks like this watch, although it supports 3G, only has the 2100 megahertz band, which means Canada, China, you're okay. USA, a lot of other places in the world, you're not okay. You won't be getting the cellular data at 3G, and most everybody's turned off 2G networks, so don't expect to have much data if you're not in a country that supports that single frequency. Brightness level can be adjusted here, and notice it's all the way down, and it's almost blooming completely out on the screen. I can go super bright. It looks like a white flashlight to you. It's almost blinding to me. You should be able to read strong contrast, large font, white on black, easily in the sun, not easily, but marginally in bright sunlight with this particular watch, because it's got great brightness. Sleep control for your screen on up to 30 minutes and as little as, 15 seconds. We're going to put it all the way up so it doesn't time out on us. Font size was set for extra large, and that's what I'm running. And if you think this is extra large, wow, I'd hate to see small. No, I won't put it small because it might be so small I can't see where to press the button to make it larger. You can try that. The Win device is rotated. Now, this is new. You don't see that on Android watches typically. You can lock it like most of them are, or you can set it so when it turns, it will shift from landscape to portrait. And there may be reasons you'd want to do that. I don't come to mind right now, but it could be. In our sound, you have the old-fashioned where you could select a different type. General was where you could set the levels that you want for each of the things, and it gave you a moderate level to begin with. But you could go into silent, meeting mode, or outdoor, which is the loudest, and that's what I always have my things set on if I want sound. I either go silent or full on. Seems to be right for a watch. Storage, here's where we get into what's being used in the watch. And it's in your standard Android layout. Total space after you take out the operating system is about 2.2 gigabytes. You take out other stuff, you got about 1.2 gigabytes left to fill up with apps and pictures and audio and stuff. But this SD card is shaded out, and if I take the back of this thing off, which we'll do in a minute, we'll show you where you can put a microSD or TF card and expand your memory with external memory. That's a great feature, and not too many Android watches have that. Our battery is a report on the battery level and what's using the most power. Phone idle is using the most because it's just been sitting around charged but getting ready for this report, and a few other things. Apps, of course, are your apps that are downloaded, running, and all. Now, you'll notice that I have a bunch of apps in here under downloaded, and these are your stock apps that came with the watch. Well, one of the things I've already done after getting on Wi-Fi and connecting into the Google Play Store is I went through and made sure they were all updated. When they're updated, they are replacing the stock ones, and so they show up as if they're downloaded apps, if that makes sense. There were no downloaded apps here to begin with because they were stock apps, and it doesn't recognize them that way. But here they are now. And of course, every one of them you have the standard capability of going in this version of Android and the way it's set up and doing things like clearing the cache or clearing the data, which is really nice. You can do that or force stop them. And because it was a stock app, you can uninstall updates and go back to the default. A lot of these are system ones, though. You don't want to mess with Google Play services or the text-to-speech engine, things like that, Android System Web View. I wouldn't mess with those. But when you install your own personal apps, you can mess around with them here in settings. You have location. This is where you can turn on our GPS. We may as well do that. And shows you what's been using it. It's high accuracy mode. Oh, we're going to agree. Okay, so now GPS is active. You have security, and it's got an advanced aspect of security. You can have it show your passwords when you enter them if you want. You can control the device administrators that you give permissions to. It's more like a full Android phone than it is a watch, actually, in its implementation of Android here on the watch. So if you're familiar with this stuff on your phone, then you've got it here on the watch. What we have not seen is a lot of this is typically stripped out and not part of what you can do on a watch. So it's kind of nice to see a more robust version on the watch. And sorry that it's like so white and so bright we can't really hardly see it. It's down at its lowest setting right now. Accounts, I have my Google account. You can, of course, track all of your accounts just like on a phone. Language and input, English, you have all of these different languages available to you. Run through those quickly so you can see if this would work for you in your specific language. And you've got a spell checker and dictionary and all those kind of things. See, a little bit more robust stuff. I always like to play when we can get to it, the sound of the speaker.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
Took her a little while. Let's try that again.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
Where is the speaker on here anyway? You know, it's so sealed, I'm not sure.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
Sounds like it's coming from right down in here. All right, not too bad. Not really, really loud, and it's up in outdoor mode, so it's as loud as it's going to get. But does pretty good. And a pointer speed. You see, it's a fallback to an old Android where we had a mouse, and you could control the speed of the mouse. Backup and reset, that's self-explanatory. You can restore the watch. Date and time. You can do the auto date and time. You can set the time zone to be automatic or not. You can do the AM, PM, or 24-hour. This is different. You can actually schedule power off and on time, so you can save battery overnight if you don't need the watch on and you're not near a charger. You can actually set it up to turn itself off and turn itself back on. That's kind of nice. Button to take it back. And accessibility. This usually isn't there, and we have to install third-party apps just to get access to it. One of the fun things to have is this magnification gestures. When you set it up and turn this on, it means if you triple tap, it'll zoom in, and now you got this extra large font. oh, okay, you can scroll it, but it's kind of locked like that. But if you triple tap and hold on the last tap, you can actually move it back and forth. So that's cool. I really like doing that on a watch. You used to have to install something called Google Settings Search to be able to get to accessibility because it's hidden on most of the Android operating system. Printing is just for cloud printing. I've not used that, but supposedly you can set it up. Developer options is not there. I've installed it, and I'll tell you why and how. Go into About Phone. This gives you all the information about the phone, including its version. It's Android 5.1, and baseband, kernel, and build number. When you tap on build number a whole bunch of times, it will activate developer mode. Normally, you don't need to do that, especially on watches. However, got a little issue with this one, just to be clear with you. I haven't been able to connect the dock on here to the computer and get transfer of data. So I haven't been able to load on and test watch faces, for example. I was told that if you go in and turn on the developer mode and go down to the USB and flip in USB debugging, which is typically what you do on a computer, that this would activate and give us the potential to connect USB and transfer files. But I haven't had success with that either. So for me, for this watch, I have not been able to connect it to the computer. However, there's no reports of this being a problem with many of these that have been sold, so I'm guessing it's just an issue with my particular watch. Because of that, I'm not showing you any potential watch faces or a lot of the other Antutu reports and all the other things, because I just dump all that stuff in here rather than download those apps one by one from the Play Store. So you're getting just a quick overview of what's in the watch as it is, since I don't have connectivity to the outside world. All right, that is settings. The gallery is where you would have your pictures accumulated, and you can get to the camera here or from the app you just saw. And let me put this little piece of paper up here so you can see the quality of the picture. Notice it's sideways. When I'm holding it like this, it's taking the picture at right angles, which is fine, and I can click that button and take a picture. And it just did. Or if it were on my wrist and I were to turn the watch this way, you see, if you can, barely in the corner of your eye, that it's going to be upright, and you can take that picture as well. And you heard a little beep there. And then you have the little icon down here that lets you actually bring up and look at the pictures. And, oh good, look at that. We got multi-touch on this watch. It means you can use two fingers and squeeze it. I can double tap. That brings that up where you can share it, it looks like. I could even write on it. Oh, it brings up an entire editing thing. Look at that. You can change the background to it. You could crop it. You can save it. Processing the full resolution image. And it claims a 5-megapixel camera. My guess is that it's really a 2-megapixel camera. There it is, colorized. It's interpolated up to 5 megapixels, but I think you're going to find it's actually a 2-megapixel camera. Triple tap is our triple tap zoom that we turned on through accessibility, right? And then pinch and zoom is how we actually zoom in. But pretty good clarity for a little side camera like that. And that's coming to us from here. Now, there's all sorts of video. There's video on here. There's settings where you can put the GPS location supposedly on here. Change the effects, the scene mode, anti-flicker, white balance. There's settings for the actual camera itself. Notice it's set for 5 megapixels or 1 megapixel. Those are your choices. And then you have video, and you can have high quality or low quality. Oh, high or fine. I guess fine quality is even higher. And we can do that. Can I get out of this like that? Greetings, everybody. I'm shooting a little segment of video with some fast flickering fingers so we can check audio and video quality. Don't you just love how I do things? I never know what I'm going to do till I do them. Here you go. Thanks, everybody. I'm shooting a little segment of video with some fast flickering fingers so we can check audio and video quality. Very nice. Loud audio, no lag in the video. So very, very nice. I'm happy with the camera. Looks good. And with that said, and enough back buttons, you see I got to it from the gallery, or you can go in through the camera. Here's a downloads button where if you download files, they'll show up there. File Manager is our overall view inside the watch. So here you can see that we have available 1.2 gigabytes out of a total of 2.24. And there's all your different folders and all the stuff you'd have typically in your watch. Regular File Manager. Gmail is linked to your Google Gmail account. Google Settings is your grand Google Settings place where you can change all sorts of things like you would on your computer. And it's a master change for your Google account. So you can literally change your password on the fly from your watch if you're on the internet. Or do any of these other things. Mess with Google Fit settings, location information. Yeah. Full on Google. I mean, full on. Here's heart rate and maps. Maps will take you into the maps of your area. Let's see what it's giving me. Okay, it's giving me China. And then there's heart rate. I'll come back to that when I put it on. A basic browser, not to write home about. I encourage you to install other browsers. You could probably put Chrome if you don't mind the overhead. Otherwise, I would suggest the Apis browser. That's the one I use a lot. Here you can see it's not really structured for the phone properly. You have to zoom in, but the two-finger pinch work, which is nice. And beyond the browser, you have a music player. So if you have any music in here, you can list it by artist or album or songs. Fairly robust music player. A little calendar, which is as typical of an introductory calendar. Well, this is more sophisticated than I expected. This looks like it's got vague holidays and things in here. Independence Day. Wow, okay. This might actually tie into your Google Calendar. Well, they surprised me. I expected just the days of the week. And then, of course, you got the Google Play Store. This is where I suggest you go in and you update your apps. Here's a nice thing about being in a rectangular display. You can get to the corner menus easily. That's all cut off if you've noticed on a round watch, and you have a real hard time. You have to slide in from the side to get to your controls. But I suggest when you get it and get on the internet and get yourself logged in that you update all of the apps because they do need updating. Then there's the search. And I don't have voice. Okay, it's a keyboard search, but now you get to look at the keyboard, and it's fairly responsive, and it gives you a little haptic feedback when you touch it. But I don't see the voice command. That's too bad. It'd be nice to have voice. Search settings. Search engine you can change. Unify the search. You can use Yahoo, Google, or Bing. And you can use different search terms. Web, apps, calendar stuff. Call history, contacts. Even search your emails. Wow, this is really robust. But there's no microphone. That's all right, I guess. You have to use a tiny keyboard. Then clock is your alarm clocks. So you can go in and set your alarms, check your time, and I guess this lets you check world time? I'll be darned. Abu Dhabi. What's in Abu Dhabi right now? Okay. 12:22 a.m. Am I saying that right? Probably not. Wow. This is wild. Look at this. Impressive. Is it in focus? There you go. Huh. Okay. And it just goes on and on and on. Well, a really robust world time clock. And then here we've got a stopwatch with a reset. Wow. All right. I'm impressed with that. World time. Oh, there were little dots down there. What does that say? Night mode. Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. It's really dim, but it's there. You see that? Oh, I hope that didn't make me permanently. Okay. Big digits and night mode. All right, enough of that. And then our sound recorder. Well, you've heard it on the video. Let's hear it on the audio. Hey, everybody. We are looking at the TenFifteen X9A Plus 3G smartwatch phone. Play it. Hey, everybody. We are looking at the TenFifteen X9A Plus 3G smartwatch phone. And you can listen to it ahead of time, decide if you want to save it or discard it right from there. And those are all of the installed apps here. So this is actually a really nice implementation of Android. It won't take you back. Remember, you have to turn it off, then turn it back on to get back to the time. SIM card would go in there for making phone calls. This is not a tethering watch for being able to make calls through your phone. None of the Android watches are. You need a separate SIM card to use it really as a phone. But as you saw, we have email, calendar, not so much text messaging, because again, that's associated with your card, but you could put in probably WhatsApp and some of the others to use as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi with the watch. Good watch overall. Okay, I need the camera and our flashlight. Here we go, flashlight. Oh, it's magnetic. Oh. Two, three. Oh, okay. Oh, comes right off. Uh-oh. There's a wire to the battery. Whoa, look at that. I almost ripped that out. Uh-oh. Okay. You gotta be kidding me. I gotta lift this out. I gotta lift that out. And that's how I gotta get in there? For real. Oh, yeah. Okay. There's the microSD card. You're not gonna change it very often, that's for sure. I'm going gotta put it back together and hopefully not lose any integrity. There's no rubber gasket around the edges, so I'm not about to dunk this in water. I don't think it's anywhere near IP67 waterproofing. Probably an IP65 at best. Oh, I hope the heart rate monitor thing still works. I didn't show that to you anyway, so let's do that real quick. All right. Here's what it looks like on, by the way. Nice, attractive, good size. And heart rate. Boom. There it goes. Making it circle. Not yet. Okay. Is it working? Yeah, the green lights are flashing. See them? Guess I gotta hold still. Do I have to touch something? Nope. Just gotta wait. I wonder if I'm alive. There we go. So it looks like it's a real-time heart rate that's just going to continuously go. I don't see any menu options to change it anywhere. Reset to 0. Saw that when it didn't get a good reading. That tells me maybe it's more accurate than some of those that will give you a heart rate of a beer can. There's actually a video up on that somewhere. We'll try it one more time. But boy, I'm having to stay really still. Okay, 70, 75, 76. That's reasonable. Been walking around a little bit, but not too much. Okay, there's the heart rate. Once again, what you just watched was a whole review on the X9A. It's got the silver case. My Z01's got the black case. By the way, they're both available in both colors. And the Z01, again, has twice the memory, RAM, and storage as the X9A. That's the only difference between the two. And the Z01 is available to you and me from Banggood. And they've got a coupon and sales link down in the show notes down below. And it really helps us out and them out if you're inclined to pick up the Z01 to jump over there and use our buying link. And if you're interested in the X9A, right in here, upper right-hand corner should be a link that you can click to go look at that review and information directly. Or, again, check the show notes and I'll have a link to that video as well. You've been watching Smartwatch Tics. Thanks for your subscription. Have a great holiday season, and we'll see you again soon.